So jumping right on in, first, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I've been a fan of your work for a while. You're one of the few people that I've not ever interviewed.
Yeah, never.
So jumping in with 999, this is one of those murderers row in terms of talent, in terms of actors that are a part of this project. Was that one of the reasons you wanted to get involved, or was it John?
It's first off, John. I mean, I'm such a fan of all his movies. I own his movies. You know, I've watched them all multiple times. So he took me to dinner and we talked about it, and then sort of introduced me to this world a little bit, and then gave me a script and read the script. Then he told me who was in it, and that was a no-brainer. I mean, it's such a talented ensemble of actors. You know.
Absolutely. Was there one person in the cast that you were like really excited to work with?
Well, Aaron and Cliffy I've known for, I want to say like 15 years or something. So to play brothers with Aaron was super interesting. I'm a big fan of all of them. Kate, I kind of have met sort of. Our kids used to go to the same grade school in New York, so I would see her in the morning and she'd have sunglasses and I'd have sunglasses, and it was that morning thing of you just push your kids into school and like this. So I'd see her every once in a while, but I've always been a fan of hers. But yeah, it was nice to work with Cliffy. I've worked with before on Boondock Saints, and Aaron I've just known for a long time, so we already had that love in the air, so that wasn't hard to bring back.
I've heard that John allows actors to really inform their own characters with some decisions. Was that the case with you?
Quite a bit. You know, he really stressed that I have a very calm demeanor during all of this, sort of to be the eye in the center of the tornado when this is all going down, and having a military background in the film. He really pushed that on me. Like, he wanted me to talk in a certain way. I was actually doing Walking Dead at the same time as I was doing this. So we shot in Atlanta, and there's an episode in Walking Dead where Carol and I are downtown, and we're in a white van, and we're about to fall off of a bridge. We could actually see that van from our 999 set, and vice versa, and we would wait till we blew something up on 999, and they'd wait for Walking Dead, and then they'd call me back, and I'd go over and cover myself in blood and put my hair back in my face and play Daryl Dixon. So it was pretty interesting, and John kind of kept me on focus with that, and not have a southern accent and not have the same growl I have on that, and so doing both was quite a challenge.
That I can't even imagine that. I would imagine at this point, after spending so many years in Atlanta, you pretty much own the town, and you pretty much know all the best sights to see, watering holes, whatever. Where did you take your fellow castmates? Was it pool? Where'd you go?
Well, I actually live about an hour south of Atlanta, and we shoot about an hour south of Atlanta in a town called Sonoya. But one of the places we shot 999 was in this hotel bar that is pretty notorious. And if we weren't shooting there, I would have recommended that we go there and shoot. But it's kind of an old stripper bar that, the strippers are all probably like 45 and up and do stuff like, squeeze beer cans with their breasts and stuff. It's kind of a notorious place. But we actually ended up filming there. I love shooting in Georgia, I have to say, and the police there are super cool to us with blocking things off and helping with production, and they're all fans of The Walking Dead, and so it was interesting. And actually the bank that we robbed, we've actually shot The Walking Dead in. I think it was a bank that was a restaurant, and then now I think it's kind of just a movie set, to be honest.
Of course.
Yeah.
Everything. There's so many things shooting in Atlanta.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's on every corner.
Yeah.
This is the big question of the day. When was the last time you had to pay for a drink? Because I would imagine there are so many Walking Dead fans that if you went to a bar, it would be, let me get that for you.
To be honest, I don't really go to bars anymore because they all want to hand me a shot. And you feel bad, so you after about 3, you're like, I gotta stop, and then you look around and there's just a ton of people trying to give you a shot. I don't really go out to those things anymore. I can't really do that. Yeah, there's and then I mean it started with Boondock Saints. Those guys are all crazy madmen, all the fans of that movie. So
I have heard that.
oh god, I mean they used to just run and tackle me to the ground, which I love. But and then I recently had a Walking Dead fan bite me on the chest, which was very strange. I don't know. I don't really go out to those things for all those reasons.
That actually would be a little. That would be a little intimidating for me. That kind of intensity in terms of fan interaction.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was interesting to be honest. I mean, I just came back from Death Valley, which is why I'm all choked up right now. Doing this motorcycle series, we just came back from Vegas through Death Valley through dry lake bed, so I swallowed a lot of sand on dirt bikes in the last 5 days, so that's why I'm talking like this. But we ended up at a really cool place called the Furnace Hotel, I believe, and it's where like Brando used to go hide out, and Peter Fonda used to go hide out, and Peter was the one telling me about it. But that they had a pretty cool little bar there that was kind of fun. But it was all of us. So that's kind of the last time I was at a bar.
I completely get it. I think a lot of people aren't going to realize the intensity of making a show like Walking Dead, where you're in the wilderness, you're in the bush, if you will, and it's not, you're not on some soundstage where you can control the surroundings. So talk a little bit about maybe what people might be surprised to learn about the behind the scenes of a show like that.
I mean, I don't think you could make a show like that without. I mean, there's so many departments and there's so many people involved on that show. I mean, one specific time we'll be blowing up tanks and we'll be blowing down buildings, and you'll look over and there'll be 1,000 zombies. Sometimes we have 4 proper camera teams shooting at the same time. You have a large crew and with many departments in it, and all of those departments are just, on their A game all the time. You couldn't pull off a show that big without having that many people kicking ass behind the scenes. We have a great crew down there. And they're constantly surprising all of us and the things they pull off. And you have like a guy named Grace Walker who does all of our sets, who'll build a prison.
Sure.
Blow up a prison. build a town. I mean, like, he builds things, to the extent that the moss growing on the walls have stories. I mean, like, everything has a story. I remember being in the prison and seeing a line of jail cells. And I'm looking at it, and there's an abandoned. Everything went down. This apocalypse happened, and there was a mass exodus to get out of that prison. And I'm looking at it, and there's one blood splatter here. There's 2 blood splatters here, and by the time you get to the end of the row, there's a ton of blood splatters. And what that story was, the prison guards, when this was all happening, just started executing prisoners. So at the end, when everyone found out, it turned into a scramble, and then there's blood everywhere. But that's the type of detail that they put in every single thing on the show. Like, things that don't even make it to the show, or in the, I remember there was a chess game that was made out of bolts and nuts that was being played on a chessboard. And you see like what story happened with this chess. They were playing and things started to go down, and everything has a story there, and people wouldn't know that. It's the behind the scenes stuff is. A lot of those sets should be in the Louvre. They're amazing.
I've heard this on other movies when the attention to detail. This is going to be a while ago, but I remember I visited the set of Watchmen, Zack Snyder's movie, and in the prison they had magazines from the time that would never be seen, but were littered around and were just there just in case they needed to use that shot.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for those departments and those teams that put those together. It's very well thought out.
I'm definitely curious. I don't want to ask you any story stuff because I'm a fan of the show and I don't want to know.
Tomorrow comes back on tomorrow.
Sir, I am well aware. I am ready.
Me too.
But I am curious. As the show has gone on, how have you have you changed your process for the show in terms of I want to know a lot more about what's coming up versus I don't, you know what I mean? Like I just want to read the script that I have in front of me.
Well, in all honesty, Andy and I were sort of BFFs on that set, and we do sort of get together like two little old ladies and try to figure things out and try to get secrets from people, and we do that. And then there's part of us that don't want to know because we're so excited when we find out. But we do kind of like poke and prod and like, why aren't they said this and this? And we're trying to put it together in our head what's going to happen. And we're always wrong, but we have fun doing it. And you know, I'll talk to him on the phone on the way to work. I'll talk to him on the phone after work, and talk about excuse me, what happened that day and what's gonna happen in the morning. And yeah, we try to figure it out. We never quite get the whole story though, to be honest.
I'm curious about your process as an actor. You've obviously been doing this for a while. How has it changed from when you first started to where you are now in terms of breaking down a script, the way you want to work, and just your process?
You know, it's always sort of remained the same, to be honest. It's just I've gotten more detailed in things that I do, but you know, a lot of times it's not so much about the words you're saying; it's about what's going to happen that day, or you know, it's more of a feeling, and you have to change your feelings more than just as much as the lyric or the words. But I mean, you know, you read some scripts and you're like, oh, this day's gonna suck. You have to like be prepared to have a sucky day. You know, I mean, I remember reading the script where I stabbed Merle in the face. I was just like, oh man, this is gonna blow. And I'm just dreading this day, you know, and dreading that day and the build up to having this day becomes what you see on camera, you know. So you have to sort of prepare yourself. I mean, like you only have so much of this, and you scoop this out and you
Sure.
hand it over. If you just keep scooping it out and not refilling it, you kind of are just a depleted person. So you have to pick your fights, you know.
Totally. I was going to say this. I'm basically out of time, so I'll just ask you, what else are you doing this year? What are you getting ready to go do?
I have a film called Sky that comes out soon with Diane Kruger and Lena Dunham. It's a French film by a director named Fabienne Berthoud, and she's an amazing filmmaker. And that film, I have an art show coming out, another book I'm working on, a film or another little show that I'm doing with Hussein and Dodge. That's an intimate portrait through Patrick Hollick's camera. Go back onto that and film a couple episodes more of a ride, and then go back to Walking Dead.
Needless to say, you are living a very busy life.
I'm very blessed. It's all fun things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, by the way, and congratulations on this and Walking Dead.
I apologize for the.
Please. I get it.